What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we're going to be talking about a dozen different altcoins today. Yes, 12 different coins. I will try to make these quick. I'm going to leave timestamps in the description below. If you don't see the timestamps, that's because you probably are watching this video rather immediately when I published it. I'm going to publish it first, get it out there, and then afterwards I will edit it. I'll have to go through and do the timestamps myself. I will leave a link in the description to the Discord as well. For anybody that wants to leave requests, you can join the Discord and leave them on the request page there, or you can just simply leave them on the comments section on YouTube. And generally I do the Discord requests first, unless I've put a YouTube one off for a while, which doesn't normally happen, but sometimes I do forget. But without any further ado, guys, if you want to leave a request, go for it. The channel is still small enough. We got 1,600 subscribers now. It's awesome. Thank you guys. Thank everybody for subscribing. If you want to hit that like button and subscribe, go ahead and do that. If you're not convinced if it's worthy, stick around. We'll see. This is a dozen different coins, so I'm gonna try to move through this quickly. We're gonna be talking about XNA, NERIA, that's the first one we got pulled up here. NEXA and CLORE, C-L-O-R-E, for Mr. M Hat. Yes, you can do multiple requests. As of now, go for it, guys. It hasn't got out of hand. If it gets out of hand at some point, like if I have 20 or 30 requests in a night, I might have to limit it to like 1 or 2 requests per person. But for now, there's no limit. So take advantage of it. ACH and AKT for the fawns. I know you didn't request AKT fawns, but we're going to be talking about that one too, or maybe it's for Stana. We'll be talking about Engine, INJ, for Stana, the long-term analysis specifically, but we'll go over it all, as well. We're going to be talking about MOROS, M-O-R-O-S, MUBI, AIOZ, JASMY, JASMY, and Prime for Mr. I Am a Royster. And then we'll be finishing it up with Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, BSV, for Mdebrahan. I don't know how to pronounce it. AMDE Brahan. So yeah, guys, that's the order. If I'll say it again real quick: XNA, NEXA, CLORE, ACH, AKT, INJ, MOROS, MUBI, AIOZ, JASMY, Prime, and BSV. That's the order, and I will leave the order in the timestamps as well. But without any further ado, it was a very long intro. Let's get into this. So looking at this thing on CoinEx here, looking at NERIA, NERAI, XNA here. We're on CoinEx. It's got the most historical data, and this thing hasn't been out for too long, right? It came about in August of 2023, as far as I know. But what a pretty crazy chart you got, man. I'm assuming that down here you had other exchanges scooping it up, and that's why you saw this run up. It's not just on CoinEx, it is on MEXC here, and of course, as it gets posted, that's whenever it stops seeing this phenomenal run up. I don't know if there's a price before this. There's other exchanges that TradingView doesn't announce as well, but let's stop going over all that and let's actually look at this. Right now, it kind of looks like a bull flag, right? You kind of have that structure, a little ABC correction here on a small scale. You do have hidden bullish divergence where you have lower lows but yet higher lows in the price. Though I would kind of expect that you'd go lower. I would expect that you go lower than this low here. And where could you go? Maybe to your 1272, to your 1618. You're at 2044 right now. You might go to 2035 or even 2033. Maybe even 2003 itself. You might see that. That's where your golden extension is. Week or daily RSI crossing below the 50. Maybe it's been a very strong RSI like for a while now. Let's see how long of a or how much of a move up you had real quick here. From low to high, 3,141%. Yeah, I think you deserve a moderate pullback, right? Which, let's see, from low to high, that would be at least to the 236, if not down to the 382, giving kind of more reason to believe that you will go lower. This 2032, that does line up kind of in that expected range, right, that I was talking about at first, between 2003 and 2035. Yeah, right there. You could see support. With a move this massive, you could see support on the 236, but you might not. It might go lower. You might go to this 382, which is all the way down at your 2618, the double golden extension itself. And with that, maybe you come down all the way to these previous highs here and find support there, all the way at the 0.5. You know, so you could definitely see a dump in this thing. I wouldn't want to get into it now personally. You know, that's just my thoughts. Weak looking 4-hour RSI crossing below the green line. I bet you do go down. So moving on from that, we're going to be talking about NEXA, I believe. Yes. Let's see. Got to get all that. There we go. NEXA. So I think down. I don't know anything about the long term of this, right? It's new, so maybe it does well. It looks like it did well before, probably because of an exchange listing, but who knows? It's probably got other things going for it too. But we're just doing the TA. NEXA. All in all, I think for XNA, I think it's going down right now, if I had to guess. NEXA also on MEXC. Should I do crypto? Let's do this on the weekly. Right, it's been around since March of this year. Kind of a nice bottoming formation. I do like it. Let's see what you got on MEXC, if it's more information or less. CoinX. No, okay, so we'll keep it on MEXC for the volume. I really do like this kind of like double, you know, even if it is a little bit saggy on the right side there. It's a very nice formation. You kind of got like a cup and handle, kind of. I don't really like cup and handles. I feel like they actually fail more often than they succeed. But let's just see here real quick. Look at that. Top to bottom, you went all the way up to your 618, your golden retracement itself, golden ratio. Previous area where you found support, you can't really see it there, but there's a wick there. Previous area you found resistance, I should say. Very strong looking RSI. You got into the overbought zone and you got quickly out of it. So you might come down still to this 382. Finding support on the 0.5 and continuing higher isn't uncommon, but I think you would have done that by now. We are in the beginning of the week. There is basically a whole week ahead of us, so let's just see how this does. If it can hold this level at about 4 zeros, 1288, then I would think that you do continue higher. At the moment, though, I would think that you probably come back to this 382, previous areas of resistance, previous areas of support as well. Looking at the daily, you're hanging on by a thread, man. As long as you're above the 50, as long as you're above this RSI 50, Fib 50 as well, then I think things look good, but you very well could be coming down to, what is that? That'd be 5096. You could be adding a 0 to the equation here, I believe. Yes. Let me look at the 4-hour before we move on. 4-hour looks weak as well. Yeah. No problem being below the 50. You have a huge problem being above it, though. The daily looks like it wants to cross over, man. It really does look like it wants to cross over. But you're still above the 50, so there is hope. All that to say, let's see where you are on this kind of like relative little bit here. Top to bottom. Yeah, I bet you go lower. I really do. If you holding the 382 like this would actually be really bullish, but you couldn't get above your 236. You're actually being held down by it. Previous area of support up here, finding it as resistance. I bet you see the 618, man. If not the 618, the reason I say this is because, you know, the 382 on the larger scale, it's like just below this 4 zeros mark, so it'd be like right around here, right? That's where that 382 is. But with this fib looking itself, like, I guess, I don't know. Maybe you don't go to the 618, because it is possible that you could go just a little bit below this 382, coinciding with this overall fib retracements 382 from top to bottom here. You know, they're pretty close together. You might find support in that area. I'm going to keep it at that for now. I think you do. I think you go lower and look for support just below that 5096 area or around there, if I had to guess. So that's NEXA. Moving on from there, let's see. We're talking about CLORE. CLORE. I've never heard of CLORE. I haven't heard of a lot of these actually, but let's just see. CLORE.ai. Is that all that we have? Gate.io, MEXC. What's got the most historical data? Not Gate. All these new coins, man. Let's see. We're going to do MEXC. Very strong run up. Very, very strong run up. Stuff like this, you know, maybe they're going to get listed on more exchanges, or maybe that's why it's being moved up, is because it got listed on some exchanges. But all in all, very bullish looking RSI. You're at your 50. This would be a good area to bounce. Will you bounce is the question. On the daily here, you could, if you bounced here, I think you could bounce higher, right? Holding this previous area of support as support, getting a little double bottom action in this area of consolidation. It could be somewhat of like a bull flag, or like yeah, something like that. Though I'm not convinced, man. I do think you go lower. I would think that you would at least see this 236, but honestly, I'd be more focused on this 382 down here, right around 9.7 cents. Kind of a little checkpoint here before you really broke out to finish it off, right? But you had bearish divergence. You had lower highs here while having higher highs here. Volumes dying off. I bet you see some volume come in as you. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Some volume come in as you break to the downside. I bet you would. And you could go all the way to the 61869. That's also possible. But after strong moves like this, I really do look for that 382 somewhere in this area to be the shining star, right, of guidance there. I know I have a lot of lines here, but let's just see. Looking at the 4 hour again. Weak. Looks like it wants to go down. If you were to find support on this green line, I think you would have. You're like right at it now, so you got to do it now, man. You got to do it. If you want any hopes, support at the green line, support at the previous area of support. But I'm kind of convinced you have a flat base here, right, with descending highs. It's never a good position to be in. So I bet you do break out, but to the downside. And where are you going to go? Again, probably below 10 cents at least, somewhere around that like 9.6, 9.7 cent area, with the potential to go a hell of a lot lower. Again, the 618, the golden retracement from this zone would be around 5 cents, even to 4 cents. Previous area where you had a little bit of consolidation too. That kind of, and it's kind of at like the previous areas of resistance here too. Like it wouldn't be crazy to go down this low. Especially after seeing such rapid growth with not really an increase in volume. You really could give it all back. That doesn't spell bad things for the future of this thing. Maybe it does good, you know, after it has a pullback, but we are at the pre-halving times for crypto. We could see some downside for sure. And all in all, it could drop all the way down here and it's still a higher low, right? So nothing to be concerned about, but I wouldn't be buying here. I definitely wouldn't be buying. If I could short this thing here, I would confidently short it, but I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. I'm not shorting or longing anything. If anything, I'm 1x longing everything I own, but I'm just buying it and holding it. I'm not actually using leverage, right? So moving on from there, we're going to be talking about ACH for Fonz here. ACH, Alchemy Pay. You know, I hadn't heard a lot about this thing. Fonzie was the first one to bring it to my attention, I think, or maybe there was someone before, but I think it was Fonzie, unless someone else requested it before you. But people are talking about it. I've heard a couple people, bigger channels, talk about it recently, and it's tied in. I forget what it's tied in with, but let's see. Top to bottom here, went up to your 618, finding support at the 236, finding resistance at the 382. With this kind of structure, I wouldn't be surprised if you came back to the 236. But I also wouldn't be surprised if you broke above the 382. Like you kind of are. It does look like right now that you are rejecting, right? We're down 9.96% on the week so far, but the week is only like 5 hours into play right now. So there's a lot of time to turn this around. You know, like for example, like this week here, right? You went all the way down and you came back up, and then had a very bullish finish the next week. You didn't get any continuation, but I'm just saying it's not all over just because you're looking like you're rejecting from the 382. Let's see how this week closes. I do have hope that you could go higher. You're in a decent positioning with your RSI. You bounced off this oversold zone. You didn't actually even get oversold. So seeing some continuation here would be really nice, honestly. Because if you can get above this 382, I would think you do go up to the 618, which is right there around 4.5 cents. Let's look at the daily here. Daily, you have hidden bullish divergence presenting itself, but not really. It's kind of funky. I don't know if I would trust that so much. Let's see how today closes, man. If you close here or lower, probably not a good sign, but if you can bring this up, you don't even have to close above the 382, but if you can have more of a wick and less of a body, I would be bullish that you are going to break this 382. And if you break this 382, it's very likely on to this to the white zone, if not beyond that, but hard to say one way or another, honestly. Oversold. If you were to turn around, do it now, man. Don't keep going lower. Let's see how the day ends for this one. I'm sorry I can't give you more of a descript kind of idea, but if it were to go lower, if Alchemy Pay is to drop lower, you would probably see it come down to the 618 area, 69 area again, based off of this look alone. I really like this fib a lot more, man. Or you could come down to the 236 here, down at about 1.75 cents, or maybe even a little bit lower than that, right? Previous areas of support, previous areas of resistance. if you were to go lower. If you were to hold this and go higher, you know, by the end of the week, you could be above 2.5 cents, maybe even up to the 618, if not in the coming weeks. Maybe by the end of the year or sometime in January, you could see these price areas. And this thing does like to move up pretty fast, so who knows? It could exceed that. You know, this might be too conservative. Maybe it does see the 1272 or the 1618 by the end of the year or before the halving. In fact, I kind of would think that you would break this high before the halving, but who cares what I think? You know, this thing can do whatever it wants. You do have higher lows coming in. You are doing things differently. Again, this chart isn't too old. It's been around since 2021, right? But instead of dumping, you have been kind of moving sideways vertically, or horizontally, I'm sorry, with higher lows, and you had a little double bottom action down here. So I think you're getting ready to move up, but I'd like to see more volume come in. There's really not that much volume. I'd like to see more volume come in. And with that, maybe you get some big moves like you've seen before. But that's Alchemy Pay, man. I don't really know what to make of it. If it closes here or lower, it probably goes down today or maybe this week, right? And if you can close the day higher or at least close this week higher, that would be encouraging for more upside. So moving on from there, we're going to be talking about AKT, USD, Akash Network. Can we do KuCoin? Does KuCoin have it all? I don't think it does. It has most of it, but we'll use Kraken. I like Kraken. You know, I do and I don't like Kraken. I guess I like KuCoin more, but I think Kraken has more volume. Anyways, looking at this here from top to bottom, you fell just short of seeing your 1272. Looks like you're getting a little bit of help from this 886. I bet you go higher. Looking at this here, AKT. I do. I bet you go higher. You broke through that 618 like butter, man. I would be very surprised if before seeing a more major correction, like major, whatever that means, that you would see $2.24 to $3 by the end of the year. If not at least by the halving, of course. But I think by the end of the year you could see some fireworks to the upside. I don't think this move is done right now. I think you're consolidating a little bit, and when you pop, you're going to go straight up to this 1272 or beyond that, right? Definitely look for resistance in this area. With that being said, it is possible you could go higher, but I'm playing it by the rules here. This is your expected kind of extension zone, so I do think it goes a little bit higher. You are in strong areas of your RSI. Bouncing here would actually look really nice because you're bouncing off the overbought zone. Looking at the daily, you could be bouncing off the 50 if you flip this day around and turn it green. Again, we're at the very beginning of the week, so seeing false moves like this in the beginning of the week, they can happen. You do have hidden bullish divergence too. It kind of looks toppish on the daily, but that could turn around, man. Get the stay to close green. 4-hour RSI looks weak, but it looks neutral with like a weak kind of emphasis, right? You're a lot more below the 50 than you are above it, but you're not getting oversold. You have no problem being overbought, but you can't even get oversold. So that's kind of a testament of strength right there in itself. Your most bearish candle wasn't even like you had a pretty big wick on it. Like I don't know, man. I have a funny feeling that this thing wants to try higher. I don't know if it wants to go lower just yet. It's kind of looking like it wants to roll over. I would say that if you get a day that closes below about there at about $1.63, $1.62, then I might be concerned, right? Because that's a previous like low close right here and a previous high close over here. Maybe we can put it to the high close itself, $1.60 and a half. Yeah, if we get a day that closes below there, maybe then I'd be a little bit more convinced that we go down and form another higher low. But all in all, you know, even if that happens, I do think that this thing has more upside to give. I don't think that this move is completely done, right? But maybe you are just like ping-ponging, you know, whatever. Anyways, that's AKT. Moving on from there, we're going to be talking about INJ for Stana. Let's see. Coinbase. I think Coinbase has a lot of historical data, but Binance has a lot more, so we're going to be using Binance. Looking at this here on the weekly, nice double bottom to end the bear cycle. Very beautiful for sure. Not a lot of volume coming in as you're moving up. Is this, you know, it's the USD, so obviously it's not going to have a lot of volume. USDT, still not a whole lot of volume. Volume picked up as you broke out here. I do like this bottom a lot, man, and you got the follow through for sure. I'm going to bring it back to the Binance US. There we go, because it has, I guess it doesn't have more data, does it? We'll use USDT. I keep going back and forth, but USDT. Because, yeah, okay. Top to bottom, resistance at your 886. You broke it, man. I think this thing wants to go to 59. It's a big range, but let's keep it. Let's look at this $59 to $100 area first. Yes, your golden extension is up here, but I don't know, man. The way that this thing likes to move up, it looks like it likes to march its way up. I don't think that you would see. You might see this 1272 by the end of the year. If not, probably more likely in the beginning of next year. I don't think that you're going to reach all the way up here before the halving. So you probably do find some turbulence in here. But who knows, man? Breaking out to new all-time highs is a big deal. You could see phenomenal movements with that. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything as far as like the history goes. Yeah, no, yeah, that's all. That looks about right. So yeah, I think you want to go higher. I think engine looks like it wants to go higher. Daily RSI looks phenomenal, man. Like, you look like you were consolidating. You just broke out of it. You're just getting started on your next move up. You came down for today, already back up. I think it wants to go higher. Enough said on engine. I think it wants to go higher. Where's it going to go again? Probably around that $50 to $100 area, right? The 1272 to the 1618. Golden extension. Let's see here. Yeah, so $60 to 100, or I guess again, not that. I'm sorry, I said the golden extension. I threw myself off. $60 to $92 is what I would think. Though again, breaking out to new all-time highs, you could see a phenomenal move in a short amount of time. It is possible to see this, though. I generally don't throw this out of the equation, especially with like shorter term time frames like this, but I do think that focusing on these, the 1414 and the 1272, is a little bit more grounded. Here you are sitting at $22. You're going to see more than a 100% gain, potentially even more than like a 400% gain by the end of this year. So that's already pretty off the ground in itself. But yeah, that's what I got for engine. So moving on from engine, I think it looks good. Probably the most bullish chart that we've seen so far. Look, I mean, very, very hot RSI. Yes, it's hot. It's at 91 right now, but that's where you see some of the most phenomenal moves, man. You could go higher. You probably see a correction or a consolidation phase at some point, but I bet you break out here, you get a nice move up, probably around that $60 or higher area, but I don't think you're going to move up to that 1618. Anyways, I keep repeating myself. Moros, we're moving on for Mr. I Am Royster. I Am a Royster. Moros. Man, this video's been going on a while already. Let's see. Moros. I think it's this one, right? Yeah. Maybe we can pull it up on here. Let's do it. Moros. Not a whole lot to go off of, but hold on now. Log it up. There we go. On the daily. Oh, it doesn't have the RSI? Come on now, man. I had it. It just keeps deleting it on here. I wonder, there's got to be a way to fix that. Relative strength index here, I'm going to change it to the 10. I like the 10 a little bit more. 10, 14, 12, whatever, they're all good, man. 11 if you want, like you know, they're all good, but 10, and we don't need the SMA. But I guess it's not there. I don't know. Yeah, it's not on there, so whatever. I don't like the color scheme. I'm not too fond of it, but I'm just going to breeze through this here. So looking like, yes, you had a pump yesterday. Wow, 68%, but it is just another lower high. Not a lot of volume. I'm not too impressed. You got above your 50 for a little bit here, but will you continue is the question. You're already down 23% today. This is a new coin, and overall from like your initial pump, you are pulling back. Let's see. I don't feel comfortable taking the fib from this low, so I'm going to take it from this low here to that high. You're right at your 382. I don't know, man. And you broke above. You closed above your 236. It's what's bearish is now actually kind of looking bullish, not going to lie. I wouldn't get too excited. I don't know. I might take that back, man. This 4-hour RSI is looking nice. Volume isn't really there, but it is picking up compared to what it's been as you're moving up a little bit. Maybe you do move up more. Maybe you do move up more. 1 hour isn't half bad. If I had to guess, you know, just right off the bat without really giving it any looks, I would say it probably goes down. But after looking into it a little bit more, I think you're about to see an extension of this move here from top to bottom. Let's see, what are you at? Finding support on this 382 potentially if you were to close the day green. If you go lower, if you close below this 382, you do run the opportunity of seeing the extension of this move here, which would take you lower all in all. And I don't really know how accurate this fib from this low to this high is going to be, because again, you came from all the way down here, but I test. I would think, just personally speaking, I think that you're making a move up to about 2 zeros, 5.5, maybe even up to a cent in a very short amount of time. Maybe by the end of the year. Probably by the end of the year, unless you're continuing to correct here or some kind of rug pull happens with this thing. I don't know enough about it. It's only available on decentralized exchanges. Do not go putting all of your life savings into something like this. Let's look it up real quick, right? Let's just look it up. MOROS, very new chart. And don't let me deter you from this stuff either, guys, because this is where money can be made, is like very new coins, right? That have a fresh market cap. But MOROS here, let's see. The contract creator can make changes to the token contract, such as disabling sales. See, excise caution. That's not a good sign, right? We don't know what the circulating supply is, but it's a new coin, so who really knows? I don't know, man. I might stay away from it. If you want to degen into this thing, don't risk anything that you would be upset with losing, right? $10, nothing wrong with it. If this thing 1,000x, you put $10 into it, you could turn it into $10,000 literally. That's what 1,000x would be. So why risk a lot of money on something that's brand new? It's always worth it, and I know it doesn't make sense to some people, but if you're patient and you wait for something like this to prove itself, to find out more and to see if it is like a legitimate project, it's better to put money in at higher prices, even if you could buy it now. But that's why you put in small amounts now, right? What we call fuck it money, because it's like, who cares? If you lose it, who cares? If you really want to gamble. But personally, I would just stay away from something like this. I wouldn't be throwing my money in this. But that being said, I do think it goes higher. You're sitting at 2 zeros, 1-1 now, and it looks like you want to go to 2 zeros, 5.5, if not all the way up to a cent. You could see a 10x by the end of the year with this thing. So degens, go for it. Savvy investors, beware. MUBI here. Let's see. MUBI. I'm assuming, based off the track record here, no, we do have an exchange. We do have a centralized exchange. Not a lot to go off of again. Very big move up, sure. You just got listed not too long ago, so I bet you do see a correction. I would very much believe that you do see a correction. Probably to this 382. You're sitting at 6.6 cents. You probably go down to just below 5 cents there. If not, you could test the previous areas of resistance down here at around 3 cents, which is corresponding with the golden retracement itself. So down, looking at this RSI, it looks sad, right? You were very strong, very mighty, came up to the 90 zone, very hot, cooling off now. You came back to test the overbought zone, rejected it, looking like you want to go lower, and the 4 hours rejecting the 50. It's looking sadder and sadder as we go down. Yes, you're holding this 236, but again, kind of a flat base with descending highs, not a good look all in all. Finished off with high volume. That's classic kind of topping behavior. So I bet you go lower, at least to 4.8 cents, if not all the way down to about 3 cents, just below 3 cents. That's what I got for MUBI. Moving on, we're talking about AIOZ, whatever the hell that is. AIOZ network. Again, you guys, something, even though I'm going through these coins, even if I don't know what they are, and they're new coins, I might be discrediting them with my initial reactions with them. Don't let that deter you. There are projects out there right now that are worth tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars that all started from very small market caps like this. That doesn't mean that overnight they're going to achieve those high market caps, but if you want to get in on the ground level, these are some of those coins that could be that. With that being said, also, they could be absolute scams. Do your research. Don't take my word for it. Don't not take my word for it. Do your own research. See what you can find. Man, this thing is crazy. Wow. Okay, hold on now. Yeah, okay, so that's accurate enough. A lot of volume. A lot of volume coming in. How much volume is that? What did we see here? That's a lot, man. Yeah. I think that breakout's something's going on here, man. Maybe they're getting listed on Binance or something, or maybe there's something else that's happening with them. I do like the chart. I'm going to use KuCoin We're going to use KuCoin. It has a little bit more historical data. From this all-time high here to the low, right at your 618, literally, man, you tipped it. There are traders, there's obviously, right, there is money involved right now. There are people who more or less probably know what they're doing. They've got bots trading it. Maybe you've just got traders who use fibs like I do, so testing the 618, you came down, you wicked your 0.5, and now you're holding it. This kind of structure right now, man, a lot of people might look at this and be like, oh, you wicked off your 618, you're probably going down to the 382 or to the 236 or lower or whatever. And that's possible. It is possible, but I got to say right now, this little bounce off the 0.5 like that, which isn't a common thing to find significance on, previous area of resistance and support too, you could be getting ready to break above the 618. And all in all, it looks like your first pass you rejected, but if you come up, I would say that all in all on your first pass, because it's like all in the same move, you're breaking through this. And if you break through the 618 like butter on your first pass, you're likely going to see these extensions come into play. Anything from $4.24 to $21.40. And with how you're moving, man, it could be by the end of the year that you see prices all the way up here at $4. You're sitting at $14 now. I don't know if you go all the way up to $21 by the end of the year. That would be some very rapid growth, but you need a lot more volume to come in. Crazy things can happen, man. We have seen a 14x in one day happen in crypto, right? We've seen more than that with like Shiba even, I think. But yeah, that'd be a 16x up there. I don't know if you do that, but 1272, you could see that by the end of the year. Very strong looking weekly RSI. Very, very strong looking. You do have bearish divergence presenting itself. That's the one thing you have going against you. And the one thing, being the fact that you did kind of find a little resistance here, coming back to the 382 and then bouncing is a very common maneuver. So as long as you're holding above this 0.5, I think you're good. But if you break below that, you probably will go to your 382, which is down at about 6.6 cents. Let's look at the daily. I like the daily RSI, man. I actually really like this RSI a lot. Lower lows in the RSI. Yes, you have bearish divergence. Your move isn't really complete. I would have liked to see this go lower. Maybe it does. Maybe you do. Maybe you come down to about 8 cents, something like that, before taking off. Oh, what to do with you? Let's see, bottom to top here. That 382 is right there, man. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. So, I don't know. I really don't know, man. I don't know what to think. I stand by it. If you take out that low, you probably go lower. But if not, you might be making your way up higher, dramatically higher in a very short amount of time. Volume dying off as you were coming up. That's not necessarily encouraging. Maybe it's not. I mean, it's like one day. I don't know. Hard to say. I really do like this RSI because you have lower lows with the higher lows. That is hidden bullish divergence. You haven't really broken this structure yet. If you get a day to close below here, or you get any price at all to go below here, as long as it's not like a fake out, you get a little wick and then you come up. But anything, a day to close below here or any price below here, I would think you do go lower. At least down here, if not more probably lower than that, right? I would think that you go lower than that, but hard to say. If I had to bet, I would honestly expect this thing goes up. That's kind of my expectation. Very neutral 4-hour RSI. Not really too easy to say. One way or another, though, with this kind of volume, even if it does drop, you're at 14 cents right now. Even if it were to drop to like 6 cents from here, I think this thing wants to see new all-time highs. If not by the end of this year, sometime before the halving, I think this thing, just with this kind of move, it's crazy, man. And I mean, maybe if not by the halving, it could be sometime later in 2024. But all in all, this thing does. It looks like it wants to see new highs. So any lower price from here would just be a better opportunity to buy, especially around this 382, which you could be going to. I doubt that you'd go too much lower than that. That's at like 6.5 cents. That would be kind of my like end all be all. And if you break that, that doesn't mean it's actually end all. You could find support down here as well, or go all the way back to your 0.69. That's possible as well. It's still a higher low. So all in all, I don't really know what to do with this one. I feel like it wants to go higher. If I had to guess, I feel like it wants to go higher. You absolutely can. Even though you have bearish divergence, you could move higher, form another leg of bearish divergence, get that third high coming in, and then you see some kind of a drop back down to here, something like that. But I test because I don't really know what to do with this one. But if it drops, probably a good buy the dip opportunity. And if it keeps going up, man, it looks like it likes to move up very fast. So good job for any AIOZ holders. We're moving on to JASMY here. JASMY, JASMY. Yes, that's right. I like this bottoming structure, man. I really do. I actually really like this a lot. Yeah. It's kind of like an Adam and Eve, isn't it? But what it really is, in my opinion, is it's like a reverse bow. And I don't know what this pattern's called. I call it the reverse bow. I don't know what it is. I'm sure there's other people who have identified it besides me. I say this every time because I'm not trying to take credit for someone else's work. But I don't know what it's called, so I call it the reverse bow because it has this structure, right? Where it kind of like, if it were to go up at least, it looks like this would be the bow and arrow. You put your arrow right here, right? Except it's the reverse bow, so your arrow actually goes that way, right? It's a heat seeker. All the heat's over here, so it goes in the opposite direction. But that's, to me, it just looks like a bow and arrow almost, or like the bow itself. I drew the arrow in there, but anyways, generally it's basically the best way to describe it is it's like a W pattern with an M in the midst of it, right? Something like that, or an M pattern with a W at the top. They can be, reverse bows can be topping or bottoming patterns, but they generally are topping or bottoming patterns. They're not like continuation patterns, unless you're on smaller time frames. But let's see here. Can I find better? Is there better? Nope, maybe not. All right, we're gonna use Binance if it's, yeah. Oh, I don't know. I don't like that. Maybe I will use Coinbase. Yeah, okay, we'll use Coinbase. Top to bottom, all-time high to all-time low. You can definitely count on this fib to be significant. Found resistance at your 236. Kind of found support near your 100 level, looking like you were going to break out to new all-time lows. It had a little like, psych, just kidding, we're going to move up higher. I bet you do. I bet you move up higher. I bet you break. Once you come up to this 236, maybe you consolidate or whatever. Maybe not. Maybe you just break straight through. But you have a date with destiny to this 1.7 cent area. Here you are sitting at about 0.6 cents right now. So that's a nice amount of growth. And if you were to do it kind of in this amount of time, that would be like in the beginning of next year. Potentially by the end of this year if it were to break up higher. Being held down by this 236 for so long, it wouldn't be crazy if you did see a kind of dramatic or a quicker move to the upside once you broke above it. I don't like the RSI. I do. It's strong, but I don't like that double top coming out of the overbought zone. I don't really like that. But that'll turn around, right? It looks like it's coming down now, but if this week closes green, which it's the beginning of this week right now, we're only down 4%, right? You've got 6 days, 18 hours left. You absolutely, this might change. This actually might be a bullish looking RSI. Let's look at the daily. Daily RSI. I like it, man. I really do. You look like you broke out, you're consolidating, holding support at a previous area of resistance. I think you're about to go higher, man. I really do. Yeah. All that volume, and well, it's, still a little bit of time left in this 4 hour. A lot can happen, but I don't know, man. It looks good to me. It looks pretty good to me. Maybe you go a little bit lower, but all in all, I think you're getting ready to go higher. So that's JASMY, man. Where are you going to go? Probably to that overall macro 382 is what I would think, which is what? That was around 1.7 cents, if I remember. Was it 1.7? 1.74. And then if we throw some fibs on from here, from this top to this low here, your 1618 is right there at that 382. So I bet you do. Yeah, 1.5 to 2 cents, somewhere in there. You probably do go a little bit above this 382, as is common. And then you can work your way all the way up to this 618 after. But for right now, let's keep an eye on that 1.746 level, probably a little bit above that if I had to guess. Yeah. So, and I mean, maybe you do just beeline it straight to your 618, but I like to look at the 382 first, especially on a grand fib like this. Moving on from there, we've got two more coins, Prime and BSV. We're going to be talking about Prime right now, Prime USD. on Coinbase. Is this the best chart to use? It might be. We're going to go with yes. So on Coinbase here. Very strong moves. Not a lot of volume. I don't like that. But who cares? You found support on your 1618. Man, like this looks like, I don't know. It kind of looks like it wants to go up higher. Like maybe finding support on the 1618 is no joke, you guys. And that comes in with this like previous all-time high here, which I don't know if that is an all-time high, like legitimately or not. Let's see. Questionable. Questionable. You know, first day madness is what I would attribute that to, but who knows? Sometimes it is reliable. Man. Yeah. Let's see. Double bottom here to finish it off. All the way up to the top. Not really in an area that would make sense. As long as you're keeping it high and tight like this, man, you might not be done. Maybe you consolidate for another week or two or a month or so like you did over here, and then you break out up higher, but I don't know. I like this RSI, man. Holding this overbought zone, coming out of it and bouncing like this would be a sign that you are going to get some rather immediate continuation. I would be surprised if you close this week green and you didn't see further expansions beyond $10 from here. Let's look at the daily again. I don't know, man. I kind of like it. I think it wants to go higher. Close today green. If you close today red, that can change. But you dipped below your 50, came back above it. You're holding this like higher low structure after showing immense strength. Like you cooled off. You cooled off a lot, but you didn't really move down a lot, did you? I think you want to go higher. I think you do want to go higher. And where do you want to go? Probably to you bounced off your 1618. That was the first thing that got me excited. I'd say at least to $10.24. If not, seeing these deep extensions, man, you might go up to $12.67, if not $15 by the end of this year. It's moving up very quickly. I'd like to see more volume come in, because if not, you're probably going to see a dramatic crash before the halving, going into the halving. But yeah, it looks good. Looks pretty good. So moving on from there, we're going to finish this up with BSV USD for Mr. Amde Brahan, AMDE Brahan. KuCoin? KuCoin, yes, we'll use KuCoin. Okay, so a little bit of a rejection as of right now off of this overbought zone, but let me see, is this accurate? No. So if this week can close green or flip green, this won't look like a rejection anymore. It would actually look like you're like holding areas of strength up here, and you're getting overbought, which would be definitely strong. You look like you want to go up higher, just based on the chart itself. Yes, you're down 6% this week, but you got a whole week to go. You could absolutely go higher. On the daily, I mean, this day already is more wick than it is body. It's like a fake out to the downside. You're going to go higher after like holding this flat top, higher lows. I bet you go higher. I bet you do. Where are you going to go, BSV? I like the 4-hour RSI. It looks weak, but honestly, it's like lower lows while kind of maintaining. I guess it is a lower low here. I don't know. It's just like it really cooled off. It's in this like down structure. Whenever you break it to the upside, it'll probably promote a good move. Maybe you do go a little bit lower. Maybe it's not upside time just yet. Maybe you go lower, but I doubt you go lower than this wick. Maybe you come down to this green line or a little bit below that. Get oversold and then move up from there. But all in all, I would expect this week to close green. I would expect this day to close more green than it is. Maybe it closes red, but at least more, a little bit higher than it is now. From top to bottom here, you're at $49.70. You probably make a move up to $69 to $88 pretty soon. Pretty short is what I'd think, because you broke above this 1618 on the first pass. Not only that, you found support on it. So this zone is all but happened yet. It's basically guaranteed, and there's no such thing as a guarantee, but generally whenever you find support on the 618 area like this, you are probably going to go here. Like your odds of going here are, in my opinion, higher than stopping at here, but who knows, man. Let's look at this thing on the monthly real quick to wrap it all up. Yeah, you want to go higher. Definitely. $75 is your 382. I bet you go above it. It's not uncommon to break above it and then find support. So that $88 area where that 1618 was on the smaller term time frames, previous area of resistance or support as well. I bet you do, man. In a very short amount of time. You're at $49, $50 right now. You're probably going to see not a 100% growth by the end of the year, but something still that nobody would be upset about. And with that being said, you could go, it's possible, you could go make a run all the way up to this 618, 69 area. Who am I to say you can't? Let's see. You do have your 2618 up here, up in that zone, 2272. If you see deep extensions, it's possible, man. You could, by the end of the year, be above $150, though I don't think that that's going to happen. But at least let's keep ourselves grounded. Look at that $75 to $88 level first, and then go from there. But all in all, I do think BSV wants to go up. So with that being said, everybody, if you like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. If you have any requests, feel free to leave them. If I had one to win this whole time, man, you guys got to put this lady in her place, because Stana is like undefeated in these shitcoin showdowns, man. Like anything that she brings up, it seems to be the best. And I like Stana. I think she's great, but I promise you, it's not a biased opinion based on her. It's about the charts, and Engine to me just looks the most like bullish and unstoppable. Oh, that's not the right chart to show, is it? There's more, isn't there? Isn't there more? I don't know. Am I thinking right? I think it was Engine, right? Yeah. Anyways, oh, maybe it was JASMY. Was it JASMY? No, it was Engine. It was Engine. Anyways, guys, before I get lost and I have to restart this whole video, I'm going to end it off there. No creepy toys tonight playing in the background. So with that, I leave you. Take care. Bye-bye. Have a good night. Get some Dogecoin. Maybe not now. Wait for it to come down a little bit, and then get some Dogecoin.